Hello and welcome to the Legacy lads. Today we're going to be doing something a bit different and the team composition is a bit different. There's no Shelf today, there is in fact just me, Xander, and Mikey.
Hello!
Because Mikey's semi-new to Monster Hunter, but really wants to get to know the beta. So I'm doing a bunch of how-to videos here. Hopefully I won't be tooling around too much. I'll be showing movesets for weapons, what weapons are good for, like situation-wise, and then I'll be doing a how-to hunt, like showing you the basics of the hunt. As we go. So first we'll be going to the training area to show the weapons and movesets. Basic controls first.
Right.
Will be the easiest thing, obviously.
This is going to be really good because when I was playing it yesterday, for the very short amount of time that I played it, I was mostly just wailing at it and not actually doing anything important.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people will be, because the tutorial will be in the full game but isn't in the beta, so that could be an issue. So, right, first thing, you've also got left analog sticks movement, right analog sticks camera, which isn't the main thing. Lock on is right analog stick, and you can move that to do different things. You can see that it's only going between these barrels because you have to click in the right analog stick again to lock onto a different type of thing.
Okay, that's already something that I was doing wrong. I was never using the lock-on. Rookie mistake.
Yes. Now there are two ways to sprint in this game. You can do it the old-fashioned way, which is R1, hold to sprint, but your finger will cramp if you do that. So just click in the left analog stick, like most games.
That is actually the way I was doing it. It was much easier with the analog stick.
It's the useful way of doing it. As you can see here, at the bottom right, we have our items, which it used to be you had to hold L1, and then press square and circle to go through them. That's annoying. Now you can just do it with the D-pad.
That's cool.
Left and right. When we get to a weapon that uses ammo or things like that, I'll show off the other hand of that. Just to go back in that weapon thing, you have a quick wheel that you can use. Which you go to it, you just release, and it does. New thing, whetstones can be dodge cancelled. It used to be as soon as you used a whetstone, you were locked.
Stuck.
You were locked in that animation, couldn't do anything. If a monster's charging at you, oh well, too bad. Now you can at least dodge. Incredibly useful. Pushing square will use whatever item is highlighted here. So there's that. Circle does nothing at the moment, because that's a secondary attack when you've got your weapon out. Speaking of, push triangle, pull out your weapon.
Has two forms,
I'll go through attacks with you later, but to put it away you just push one of the sprint buttons, any of them, and you'll put your weapon away. Dodging won't put your weapon away, which is great. Left trigger, if you don't have a weapon out, will bring out your slinger. As you can see, I have nothing equipped to my slinger right now. Let's change that. Let's put on... Nice. Whatever. And that's loaded into my slinger now. Used to be that you could only throw these, which means you just threw them in the direction you're facing with no angle. So if an enemy started flying and you wanted to hit it with a paralyze knife, you can't.
Alright.
But now you can. You can just shoot it up. So that's a new thing, that's a quality of life thing that is just really, really needed. Right trigger by itself will do a draw attack. Depending on the weapon you've got, depends on the attack.
Yeah.
Here's a thing not a lot of people figured out with the slinger. It has another use.
Okay.
It doesn't just throw things. If you aim at something, let's see, there, and press circle, you have a grappling hook.
That is awesome.
Yeah, not a lot of people know about this. It's really useful, and it'll be used for stuff other than just grabbing onto vines in missions. I'll show that later. But you just wedge beetles on there, you grab onto them, and you can do a drop attack.
Oh,
which
that's
will be
awesome.
useful for mounting. I'll get to the slide mechanics and stuff. So now we've done all that, I'll get to some basics with some weapons. Oh wait, no. I'll get to the mantles. There's a bunch in this, and they all do different things. By default, you'll have the ghillie mantle equipped, which will increase your stealth.
While using the ghillie
Speaking
mantle,
of, push the dodge button raw, you'll go into sneak. And you can hide in long grass and stuff. With a ghillie suit, it's easier to hide. That's handy. My preference is the Rocksteady mantle, which gives you hyper armor. You can't be knocked out of animations.
Oh, right, okay.
Really useful if you're wanting to whetstone up. Just pop that mantle. They can't stop you.
You can use the item box
So,
to manage your inventory.
I'm going to go over what stats you can see on these things. I'll go into weapons later because I'm going to be changing them. Charms are really self-explanatory. Defense boost. See how that says defense boost level 1?
Yeah.
You will never find something that has defense boost level 2 on it.
Right, okay.
It's a stacking effect. If you want defense boost level 2, you have to equip 2 things that have defense boost on it.
Right.
And so on and so forth. And as you level it up, it does other things. As you can see there, the skill level. So at level 7, it increases your defense by 35 and elemental resistances by 3. So raw defense boost can be handy for elements as well. You've got attack and stuff. Now for armor, they all have their inherent skill boost. Recovery up is exactly what it sounds like. You recover your red health faster. Defense boost is, we've already been through that. Fire resistance, increased fire resistance. Increased damage with ice. So that's handy for some things. Critical eye increases your affinity, which is a thing I'll get into when I go to the weapon stats. As you can see, you've got all your versus fire, etc. Now, you may think, oh, this armor's not, the hunter's armor has no minuses. So I'll go for that one, it's the best. But that's not always the case, because it depends on what you're hunting. If you're hunting an Anjanath, you'd want to go for the Anjanath armor in this, because it's got 3 versus fire, and he does fire attacks.
Yeah.
And raw defense is the same on all of them in the beta, so that doesn't make a difference. So I'd say against the Baroth, you'd want something that has a higher versus water, so that would be the Jagras or the Hunter.
Yeah.
Whatever you find's coolest. And things like that. So that's useful. Skills are easy enough there. Now for weapons. You've got your standard here, you've got rarity, which is, everything here is rarity 1. It's base level. You'll get it really quickly after starting the game. That insect is rarity 2 because it's been leveled up. That'll go into when I equip the Insect Glaive. But you've got your attack, which is your raw attack. It's 480, it's not bad. Sharpness is important. Do any of these have different sharpnesses? No, they all have the same. Basically, that's how long your meter will be before it hits the other sharpness level.
Right.
So that's got a decent chunk of green, which means it'll be a while before it hits yellow. So that's useful. Affinity is your chance to deal crits.
Right, okay.
So you cannot crit with any of these weapons. It's impossible. But with the Feathered set, as you saw, it had critical eye. 2 of the parts have critical eye, which each one increases by 3%. So you have a 6% chance to deal crit.
Right.
Crits in this are simple enough. It deals 1.5 times damage. But affinity goes into the minuses.
Oh, right, okay.
So if you have, say, a weapon that has -10 affinity, usually they'll have really high normal attack. That means you've got a 10% chance that you'll do 75% damage.
Oh, right.
So there's that. Elements are self-explanatory. It's an element. Here, this one has poison, which is a status element. It has 200 poison, which means it builds up 200 points of poison on your enemy when you hit it. And think of it as like Dark Souls with your poison resist. You've got a bar, and when it fills up, you're poisoned.
Right.
Your enemies have that. You don't see it, and you don't see your own either. You just have to
Keep your eye out.
keep your eye out. Things like that. Water is just, it'll do 10 points extra of water damage. Which, if the opponent has no weakness to water, that's fine. It's just 10 raw extra damage to your weapon. But if your opponent is weak to water, that's a lot more extra damage you're doing. And same with resist, it'll put the damage down.
Yeah.
Paralysis is another status effect. Poison, etc. A thing I had to look into to explain is that thunder can't cause paralysis, even though that would make sense.
Yeah.
Specific elements have their own different debuff. So thunder causes thunder blight, and when you or your opponent is affected with thunder blight, they are easier to be knocked out.
Right. Okay.
Water blight means that you're all wet, so your attacks are going to take more to do. You're going to drain stamina more often. Fire blight is self-explanatory. You're on fire.
Yeah.
You're going to take damage over time, and there's a bunch of those. that's all that you need to know about those.
I spotted file type.
File type is specific to that. I will explain that when I get to that weapon.
I noticed that a couple of times on different weapons.
Yes, there's the Evergreen Blade, that has shelling type. Those are all weapon specific. I'll go into those when I get to those weapons.
Right.
The other thing you need to know is you've got the little blue gem symbol and the like shield symbol there.
Yeah.
That is for gems and decorations to give you all those stats on those things.
Right, okay.
It's handy for armor because, as you saw, all those armors only had buff effects.
So it's pretty much embedding.
Yes, which is really useful in this. You'll see with the guns, they have their own thing, which is mods.
Oh, okay.
I'll get into that in a bit. But first things first, you tried out the Insect Glaive in the original, your first play of the beta. So, I'll explain the Insect Glaive since you're here. Glaive. Just Glaive. We'll go over here because this pillar's the easiest thing. So, lock onto the pillar. Draw your weapon. You obviously have your triangle attacks, which are just some slashes. You have your circle attacks, which will be wider, more horizontal style attacks. But the main point of an Insect Glaive, you have your jump move as well, which we'll go into later, is your Kinsect. As you saw, I said that I would go into the insect in the box. This one's a slashing type, as you can tell by its little cutting bits. It's called a cauldron. It's pre-leveled up, so it won't be useless to you. It means it does cutting damage, so that's always handy. You get blunt ones as well that just headbutt your enemy. But you want to send out your Kinsect. If you do it that way, that creates the spore effect here. I believe that spore effect is explosive.
Huh.
But what you want to do is send it for harvest extract, and it'll glow a colour, red, as you can see there. That will give me an effect. I think it's increased damage. I will check in the notes to see exactly what ones, but there's 4 that you can get, but you only need 3. You can only hold 3 at a time. There's the yellow one. Let's see, what do I think will give me white? I think this one. Nope. Something will give me white. Something will give me white. There we go. Now we have all 3. In previous games, what would happen when you have all 3 is you go into some kind of Super Saiyan mode.
Right,
and
okay.
Everything you do is faster, everything you do hits harder, and you have a full moveset. But at the moment, you have a speed buff and an attack buff from 2 of the things, and I believe the orange one is the one that gives you your full moveset. So
Right.
you'll have extra combos you can do.
This is a load of stuff that I just did not
Yes.
discover.
And as you can see at the bottom left there, it gives you some basic combos you can do with these things. And in the top right, it tells you what actions you can do whenever you're doing something. So say I push my triangle, it'll tell me what actions I can then go into for combos.
That's awesome.
So those won't appear when you're playing. Those are
Yeah,
only for training room. They've went really in depth with the training room and made it very similar to Street Fighters in that regard. But here's where the Insect Glaive gets its most prominent thing. I need to get my thing back. So triangle throws it out, but you'll notice it just stays there. You have to push left trigger and circle to bring it back. So you bring it back, you get your... they're essentially Choji's power pills from Naruto.
Yeah.
But then you've got your vaulting mechanic, which is unique to this weapon, and that's just, I'm going in the air now, and you've got air dashes and air attacks, and if you hit anything with this circle attack, you immediately pop back up, so you do not touch the ground.
That is awesome.
That's when you've got all the insect things. That's why this weapon's so good, because all of those hits that you saw can lead to a mount situation. And mount situations are always fun. Now here's a thing, is to show you jumping attacks. Every weapon has them. So that's the jumping attack for this. I don't think there's a specific one on circle. I think it's always the same. I forgot to
Press circle.
roll. Yes, there isn't one on circle, but a new mechanic for Monster Hunter World is sliding. Sliding wasn't in the previous things, so everything has unique sliding moves, and some of them have really good ones. That's the Insect Glaive in a nutshell. It's not the most... When you know it all, it'll be second nature to you.
Yeah.
But when you're just starting, it is rather difficult. So, we'll switch to just the Greatsword. Something simple. It doesn't even have an element in this. It is the most basic.
Yeah. It's just basic. I am going to stab you now.
Yes. Now, you might think that the Greatsword, because of its giant size, it is your big raw damage weapon. It's not most of the time. For the most part, if your opponent is still up, what you want to do is run in, do that, dodge away.
Close range weapon.
If you're quicker about it, you can actually put your weapon away as soon as you get up. And run away again. Hit and run tactics. Until your opponent's on the ground. Then you want to get into the good stuff, because this weapon is slow. You won't be able to do much to it unless you're using those hit and runs. So you've got your wide sweeps, which are useful. That tackle is new, by the way. It used to just be the first slash into the second slash. The tackle, I believe, gives you armor on that one now, which is useful. Can you still do slap in this game? Yes. Side blow is a blunt attack with his bladed weapon.
Yeah, because obviously he's smashing you with
on the side. You're just giving them a wee cheeky slap.
Yeah.
I'll go into the differences between blunt and blade when it's necessary. Just know that bladed weapons are good for cutting off parts that need to be cut off on monsters. But where this... Also, if you're at a tail and the monster's big, your triangle circle up slash, that'll more likely hit it. It does big damage. It's really good at cutting tails off. But here we have charge attacks. Up to 3 levels of charge, because it flashes. Every flash gives a different charge. Like, there's charge level 1. Now here's the issue. You may think, just hold it. Just keep holding it. There's your level 3, but he did a level 2 charge.
Right,
If you hold it the whole time, it reverts back down a level, you don't get the maximum damage.
Right.
Make sure you're paying attention, watch for that third flash, and let go yourself, which I didn't do. So you've got 1, 2, 3, more damage. Now, the charge has become better because you can now combo charges. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then go. Can you not on a fail? 1, 2, 3, and then go straight. Oh, I need to be pushing the left analog stick, that's a problem. Or I go and slap. Wait. Then go straight into another charge. And then go into your final charge. Used to be that you only got 1. Now you have 3, and that is really good at doing a lot. As you can see...
Really, that's how you rack up the big damage when they're knocked down on the floor.
Yeah, exactly. That's the Greatsword. That's it. It's...
Nice and easy.
Yeah. Jumping attacks are the same, I believe. Got bah. That. Except, new for this game, you can charge in mid-air.
Huh.
So, you can do a charge attack on the way down. Can you guess what the sliding attack's going to be? Because the sliding attack is not activated because I wasn't sliding. Useful to make sure you're sliding first. Charge all the way down, and then do an uppercut. And from that uppercut, you're in the air, so you can do your air attack,
That is so
which you can also charge. The Greatsword has the potential for big damage, but you need openings.
Yeah.
If you don't have an opening, hit and run tactics. Sword and Shield. It has a weird history with this one. Because on a game-to-game basis, it changes.
Okay.
In Monster Hunter 1, the very first one, which is the one that I sunk a lot of time into, it was by far the worst weapon in the game. There was no redeeming positive. It had less damage than everything else, and it had less sharpness
The
than
sword and
everything
shield
else.
is a close
So there was
range
no
weapon
upside
set
to
that
it.
focuses on agility and dodging and is great for
Okay, so what was
beginners.
its purpose?
starting weapon. Get used to the game.
Right, okay.
But now they've added more stuff in that it is the only weapon that if you block, which is right trigger, that's its specialty, and then just say, hey, I need to heal. You can keep your weapon out. It's the only weapon where you can keep your weapon out and use an item.
That's quite cool.
Yes. Nowadays, it is also the sharpest weapons. Meaning that even at green sharpness, don't 100% trust that. It's a little bit higher than that.
Alright, okay.
It'll bounce off of monsters less, basically. Another thing is, in this game, the sharpness meter is actually a meter. It doesn't just go, all your weapons now yellow, randomly, which was always infuriating. The lower your level of sharpness is, the more likely your weapon is to just bounce off an enemy and not do damage. Because you're hitting a rock monster, why would a blunt weapon do anything to that?
Yeah.
If you're using an actual blunt weapon like a hammer, then that doesn't matter. Because you're just slamming them anyway. But this has got some fun combos. You've got a running slash that you can just do stuff like that from. You've got your triangle combo, which I already showed, which is that. You have a shield bash combo, which does pure blunt damage. Which means you are pretty good at knocking enemies out.
Yeah.
So, you saw that backstep there? Charge it. He can leap off of enemies.
Wow.
So that's how he can get mount attacks. In Generations, this was a thing that I was saying to other friends, is where's the oils? Did some more research, because Generations is the only game I put any time into the Sword and Shield on. Oils are specifically a Generations thing. Normally it doesn't need them, because the Sword and Shield also, if it's got an elemental affinity, it is the best at using that elemental affinity. Its element will do more damage.
Okay.
So that's their big thing, is they are base level weapons, but they are usable all the way to the end. So that's a good starting point, but it's not the best starting point, because that's the Longsword, which I'll get to. For now though, dual blades. Also, super simple.
I watched a movie for this one, they look really fun.
Yeah, they're super simple in that, as you can see on the left there, they don't have much moves. They've got double slash, bludgeon strike, and demon mode. That's it. I forgot to show the jumping attacks as the sword and shield, but it is just, even while sliding, you just do a really good jump, and the jumping attack is the exact same one. It's not got anything special there. So, for the dual blades, you just have some nice swings for combos.
Demon mode
That's
is
it
super
for triangle
strong,
attacks.
but it eats
For
up
your
stamina
circles,
too.
you've got stabs and then flails and spins. But you can interject like this and make that longer. And that can lead to an infinite scenario.
Oh.
And then you have your flurry, which, can you do the flurry? No, you can't do the flurry raw anymore. So, here's where we get to the meat of this thing. Also, if you're locked onto something, it will stay locked on, but if you move that camera, it automatically unlocks. Because while locked, it'll move the camera for you. It'll make sure you're always facing it.
Yeah. So
But-
just keep your fingers away from the right stick when you're in a good fight.
Yes. So, the roll is... Here's the thing about the roll on all weapons. It has iframes, like in most games. There is a very easy way to tell when your iframes are. Are your feet off the ground. During the roll, when you roll, when your feet are not on the ground, you're invincible. Your feet back on the ground, you're not invincible. So, there are skills that increase the range and length of your roll, so that you have more iframes. Always useful. So here we get to why the Demon Blades, the Dual Blades, is one of the most damaging weapon sets in the game, which is Demon Mode, where you flip them round, and you just become faster and stronger. And your roll isn't a roll anymore. You have a command dash, so you can just do stuff
That
like
is
that.
awesome.
But also you get access. Oh, Demon Mode drains your stamina incredibly quick.
Yeah.
The whole time you're in it. So, in Demon Mode, you get access to flurry moves by pushing triangle and circle together. and you do stuff like that. You notice the red meter?
Yeah, I just noticed that.
That's new for this. That is Archdemon mode. When you're in demon mode and do attacks, you build that up. You're now in Archdemon mode, which means even in regular mode, you have access to demon mode stuff without it draining your stamina all the time.
That is awesome.
So, that's great. Now, this has different jumping attacks depending on if you're in demon mode or not.
Oh, so we've got quite a lot of...
It's got that, it's your standard one.
Mhm.
Jumping double slash is basic. I believe it's... Yeah, there's no circle one. But, in demon mode you get access to probably the coolest jumping attack in the game. Which is... push to sprint, I forgot. Put your weapon away. I have to dash off the edge with this. Sorry guys, I'm messing up this little cliff here. Right, so activate demon mode. That.
Oh.
Now, you notice that spinning attack at the start? If you hit the very front of a monster's face or the peak of its tail, you'll dig the blade in and you'll run up it.
Oh, that
And then
is
you'll do the
anime as
finisher.
fuck. That is amazing.
But that's very specific. I believe that the slide attacks are the same. Oh, you can't slide while in demon mode with this because you'd have to sprint at a thing. So, yeah, it's just the spin splashes again. And as you saw when you land, you can do an or spin. So that's dual blades. Simple enough. Really easy to get into. Now we'll get straight onto the beginner weapon. It's the best weapon for beginners. It's a longsword. It's a big katana. There's a reason it has more moves than dual blades, but you don't have to worry so much about stamina conversion. Because
The longsword
all you want to
is
be
a
doing is just
close-range weapon designed for
stab,
cutting attacks.
stab,
You can gather
stab,
your spirit to
stab,
increase its power.
stab. It's an infinite, Mickey. Here is your infinite. Just mash triangle. It used to be that you would have to push circle yourself to get the thrust. So it would be that, then thrust, then that, then thrust, then that. But now you don't need to. You can just keep mashing triangle to do it for you. This weapon, however, is usually when matchmaking in co-op, people will possibly hate you because you can trip enemies by hitting them, and this is a big long blade and you can do stuff like that. So you'll hit your friends, and they won't be happy about it. That can be controlled, by the way. You can go left, right. I don't think you can go forward. No.
It wouldn't be much of a fade if if you went forward.
It's an escape mechanic.
Yeah.
But then we get into the special mechanic for this weapon, which is the red meter there. It used to be that when that was full, it would flash, and you had an increase to your sharpness, like a 1.25% increase to your sharpness. Now it's just a meter for these attacks, which co-op partners will hate, because here's a big wide swing, here's a big wide swing, here's a big wide swing, here's a stab, and there's a big wide swing. Now you notice that the sword meter is now flashing white. And the blade should have a slight white glow around it. Just a little. I now have 10% increased damage.
Awesome.
You don't need to hit with every hit of that combo. You do need to hit with the last.
Right.
For that to count. So, that goes up 3 levels. So you've got white here, and as you can see it's draining at a reasonable pace. So we'll go to the next one. There are tricks to this spirit thing that you get more. Now it's yellow. And it will drain faster, but you now have a 20% increase to your damage. But wait, there's more. So, you go for the last one. And I missed. I missed with the last hit, so it didn't count.
Yeah.
I should probably lock on then. There we go. Now it's red. That will drain really quickly, but you have a 30% increase. Which is useful. Always useful. But if you don't want to do the whole combo, there you go. You can skip parts. by comboing from Phase Slash.
And you missed the final hit.
Yes. Obviously, if you're already in red and you do it again, it just refreshes the red. But, so we'll do this, and then that one. That one's useful. Shouldn't have done it without it being locked on.
Your weapon is losing its sharpness. Create some distance and then use a
then we'll-
whetstone.
I was hoping to hit that barrel. Right. I'm going to get this combo so I can show you because it has actually got unique properties. Not the easiest weapon to hit with, apparently. Great. Let's try this again. Here we go. How did that miss? This is really annoying. I'm getting a little frustrated at this. So. There we go. Goes up. Comes down with a Hellbreaker.
Oh, that is cool.
If the Hellbreaker connects, it gives you another buff to your meter, and that your meter is always regenerating at that point.
Ah, okay.
That's the Longsword. It's really simple. You don't
jumping attacks.
jumping attacks. You don't even need to worry so much about the spirit thing because it's an extra combo. If you're matchmaking, try and warn people like back off. I need to do my spirit slashes. If you're playing co-op with your friends, you'll be talking to them anyway. So
Yeah.
if you need to, it's just a downward slash. If you need to, back off and just do it to mooks, like ads. You just need to hit an enemy with that final hit to get the buff.
Yeah.
That one's an uppercut, and you can do the downwards one after it.
That's really pretty cool.
So that's the Longsword. Good basic weapon.
I can certainly see why people will hate you for using it at times.
Yes, but it is also the basic, here's your beginner weapon. With that, I'll call it just now before I go into more weapons. We should be able to get the rest done in one video, hopefully.